Story about fear, choice, and finding myself again. Not a love story. My name is Daniel Carter. I am a painter. Not the kind of painter who sells art in a gallery. I paint walls. I paint doors. I paint small apartments. I live in Manchester, England. I rent a small studio room in an old building. The building is tired, like a person who has worked too long. My room is on the 3rd floor. The stairs are narrow and steep. The hallway lights flicker. Some nights the hallway smells like old cooking and damp air. But the room is mine. It is small, but it is safe. Or it used to feel safe. My rent is due on the first Monday of every month. My landlord, Mr. Howard, never forgets. He does not forgive. He does not wait. I do not earn much. So rent day is never just a day. It is a test. This month I failed the test. The month that went wrong. In the beginning of the month I had work. I painted a small bakery. Then I painted a bedroom for a young couple. It was normal work. It was not easy, but it paid. I thought, good, I will be okay this month. Then something changed. A big company came into the area. They offered cheap painting jobs. They had many workers. They worked fast. They charged less. People stopped calling me. I waited. I refreshed my phone. I checked messages again and again. Nothing. I went to a local cafe to ask if anyone needed work done. The owner shook his head. Sorry, Dan, he said. Not now. I walked home slowly. The wind was cold that day. It went under my jacket. It made my skin tight. When I got back to my room, I looked around. I had paint brushes, paint rollers, tape, dust sheets. I had tools. But tools do not pay rent. Work pays rent. And I had no work. Counting the money. One night I placed my money on the table. It was not much. I counted slowly. 1, 2, 3. I stopped. I counted again. The number did not change. It was still not enough. My stomach felt tight. Not from hunger. From fear. I tried to calm myself. It's okay, I whispered. You'll find something. But my voice sounded weak, even to me. I opened my notebook. I wrote down what I needed. Rent. Electricity. Food. Phone bill. I looked at the list. Then I looked at my money again. I felt like I was staring at a wall with no door. The next day I tried again. I called old customers. One number was disconnected. One person did not answer. One man answered and said, I hired someone else. I thanked him anyway. Because what else could I do? The first knock. The week rent was due. I started sleeping badly. I would wake up too early. Or I would wake up in the middle of the night. Every sound felt loud. A car outside. A door closing. Footsteps in the hallway. I kept thinking, it's him, it's Mr. Howard. On Friday evening, I heard footsteps on the stairs. Slow, heavy, confident. I sat up on my mattress. The footsteps stopped outside my door. Then came the knock. Not a polite knock. A strong, hard knock. My door shook. Daniel, a voice said. Open up. I stood still for 1 second. My heart was beating fast. Then I opened the door. Mr. Howard stood there. He was in his late 50s. He wore a dark coat. He always smelled like strong aftershave. His eyes looked past me, into my room. Like he owned it already. Rent, he said. I swallowed. Mr. Howard, I said, trying to sound calm. I'm getting the money, I just need. How long, he asked. 2 days, I said. Just 2 days. His face did not change. 2 days, he repeated. Then he stepped closer. Daniel, I have heard this before, he said. You are not the first tenant to say it. I know, I said quickly. But I'm trying, I'm working on it. He looked down at my paint bag. "Still painting?" he asked. "Yes," I said. "I'm a painter, it's what I do." He let out a short laugh. "Then paint faster," he said. I felt heat rise in my face. I wanted to tell him many things. But I did not. Because when you have no money, you do not have power. He pointed his finger at me. 2 days, he said. If you don't pay, I change the lock. Then he turned and walked away. His footsteps went down the stairs. I closed my door slowly. I leaned my back against it. My legs felt weak. For a small job. The next morning, I went out early. I carried my tools like they were part of my body. I walked around the neighborhood. I looked for signs. I looked for construction. I looked for anyone who might need paint. At a small corner shop, I saw a sign in the window. Help WANTED, temp work. My heart lifted. I went inside. A woman behind the counter looked at me. Yes, she asked. I saw the sign, I said. I'm looking for work. She looked at my clothes, my paint stains. What kind of work, she asked. Anything, I said. She frowned. We need someone to paint a storage room, she said. It's small, one-day job. 1 day is fine, I said quickly. How much does it pay? She told me the amount. It was not enough for rent. But it was something. I'll do it, I said. She nodded. Come tomorrow morning, she said. Bring your own supplies. I left the shop with new energy. At night, I cleaned my brushes. I prepared everything. I told myself, this is the start. But deep inside, fear still sat in my chest. Because one small job cannot fix everything. 5 the wrong place at the wrong time. Sunday morning, I arrived at the shop early. The woman let me in. She showed me the storage room. It was small and dark. The walls were dirty. There were boxes everywhere. Paint it white, she said. Just make it look clean. I started working. Paint has a smell that stays in your nose. After a while, the room felt like fog. I worked fast. I did not take long breaks. I kept thinking rent, rent, rent. Around midday, I heard voices outside the room. 2 men were talking. Their voices were low. I could not understand all the words. Then I heard one sentence clearly. We move it tonight. I froze. I held the roller in the air. I listened. Another sentence. No mistakes this time. My stomach tightened. I told myself, not my business. I went back to painting. But the voices stayed close. They were in the shop now. They were not customers. They sounded like they belonged to trouble. Then the storage door opened. A man stood there. He was tall with a shaved head. He looked at me like he was measuring me. Who are you? He asked. I'm the painter, I said. I'm painting the room. He looked behind me at the walls. Finish fast, he said. Then he closed the door. I stood still again. Something felt wrong. I had painted many rooms in my life. But I had never felt watched like that. I finished the job quickly. When I came out, the woman paid me. She smiled, but her smile looked forced. Thanks, she said. I took the money and left. Outside, the air felt colder than before. Or maybe it was just me. I walked home fast. I did not look back. 6 the second knock. That night I was tired. My arms hurt. My back hurt. But I could not sleep. The voices from the shop stayed in my mind. We move it tonight. No mistakes this time. Move what? Boxes. Money. Something else. At midnight, I heard footsteps in the hallway. Not one person. More than one. My body went stiff. Then came a knock. 3 fast knocks. Not like Mr. Howard. This was different. I did not move. Another knock. Then a voice. Daniel, the voice said. My blood turned cold. How did they know my name? I held my breath. The voice spoke again. "Open the door, we just want to talk." My hands started to shake. I looked at my phone. No signal in my room, as always. The old building blocked it sometimes. I thought about shouting for help. But who would help? My neighbors were quiet people. They stayed away from trouble. The handle moved slightly. They were testing the door. I stepped back. I looked around my room. I had paint cans, a metal scraper, a heavy tool bag. None of it felt like a real defense. The voice spoke again. "We know you were in the storage room today," he said. "You heard things." I felt sick. I did hear things. I did not want to. But I did. "We don't want problems," the voice continued. "We just need you to be smart." My mouth was dry. I did not answer. The voice became harder. Daniel opened the door. The handle moved again. Harder this time. Then another voice, deeper. "Stop," the deep voice said. "He might call the police." The first voice laughed. "He won't," he said. "Look at this place, he can't even pay rent." I felt anger. But anger did not help me. Then the deep voice said, "Leave it, we'll see him tomorrow." Footsteps moved away. Down the stairs. The hallway became silent again. I stood there for a long time. My chest hurt. I whispered, "What have I walked into?" 7. Fear and a choice. The next day, my head felt heavy. I had barely slept. I kept thinking, they know me, they know my door. I checked the lock again and again. Then I remembered Mr. Howard. 2 days. If I did not pay, he would change the lock. I looked at the money from the job. It was something, but still not enough. I needed more. But now I was scared to go out. Because what if those men were waiting? I sat on my mattress and tried to think clearly. I had choices. Do nothing, hide, hope they forget me. Talk to them, tell them I won't say anything. Go to the police, but would they believe me? Leave, but where would I go with no money? Each option felt bad. I was stuck between fear and rent. Fear felt like a hand on my throat. Rent felt like a hand on my back pushing me forward. Then my phone buzzed. A message. From a number I did not know. It said, "We can help you, meet tonight, 9 p.m. behind the shop." My hands went cold again. It was them. I stared at the message. Help you. What kind of help? I knew what kind. The wrong kind. 8. The landlord's threat. In the afternoon, Mr. Howard came again. This time he did not knock long. He knocked once. Hard. I opened the door slowly. He looked at me like I was a problem. "Money?" he asked. "I have some," I said. "I'm still getting the rest." His eyes narrowed. "You said 2 days," he said. "It's the 2nd day." "I know," I said. "I just need." He cut me off. "No," he said. "No more words." He took a small key from his pocket. He showed it to me. "This is the new lock key," he said. "I will change it tonight if you don't pay." My stomach dropped. "Tonight?" I said. "Yes," he said. "And you will sleep outside, or go to friend, not my problem." I felt panic rise. Then he leaned closer. "Life is simple," he said. "Pay or leave." Then he walked away. I closed the door. I wanted to scream. But my throat felt locked. Now I had 2 threats. The landlord at night. The men from the shop at night. And only one body. Mine. 9. The meeting. At 8:50 p.m., I stood near my window. I looked outside. The street was quiet. The air was wet. It had rained earlier. I told myself, don't go, don't go. But if I didn't go, what would happen? They already came to my door. They already knew my name. And Mr. Howard would change my lock. I felt trapped. So at 8:55 p.m. I left my room. I walked down the stairs quietly. My heart was beating fast. Outside, the street lights made the road look orange. I walked toward the shop. Every step felt like a mistake. Behind the shop was a narrow alley. It smelled like bins and wet cardboard. I stopped there. I waited. Then a man stepped out of the dark. It was the tall man with the shaved head. He smiled like we were friends. "Daniel," he said. "Good you came." Another man appeared behind him. This one wore a dark hoodie. I could not see his full face. The tall man said, "Relax, we're not here to hurt you." I did not answer. He continued. "You heard something yesterday," he said. "You're smart, you know what kind of business this is." I felt my mouth open, but no words came. He stepped closer. "We need you to do a small favor," he said. "And we'll pay you well." I finally spoke. "I don't want any trouble," I said. He nodded slowly. "Of course," he said. "No trouble, that's why we pay." He pulled out an envelope. He waved it slightly. "You need money," he said. "You owe rent." My stomach turned. How did he know that? Then he said a sentence that made my blood freeze. "We can also talk to your landlord for you." I stared at him. "What?" I whispered. He smiled. "We know Mr. Howard," he said. "We know many people." The second man spoke for the first time. "Just do the favor," he said, "and your problems disappear." "What favor?" I asked. The tall man said, "You paint right, you enter buildings." I said nothing. "We need you to paint a flat," he said. "Just one room, quick job." I frowned. "That's it?" I asked. He smiled again. "Yes," he said. "That's it." But I did not believe him. I asked, "Why me?" He shrugged. "Because you are alone," he said. "And you need money." Those words hit hard. Because they were true. The envelope. He held out the envelope. "Take it," he said. My hand moved without thinking. Then I stopped. I remembered my mother's voice from years ago. "Daniel, money is never free," she used to say. "If it comes easy, it costs you later." I looked at the envelope. If I took it, I would pay rent. If I took it, I would keep my room. But what else would I lose? I asked, "What's in the flat?" The tall man's smile became smaller. "Nothing," he said. "You just paint." The second man stepped closer. "You ask too many questions," he said. I stepped back. "I just want to be safe," I said. The tall man sighed like he was tired. "Listen, Daniel," he said. "We're giving you a chance. You can be poor and scared. Or you can be paid and calm." I looked down at my hands. My hands were stained with paint. They were rough. They were honest hands. I whispered, "I'm not that person." The second man laughed. "Everyone is that person," he said. "They just don't know it yet." Then the tall man said very softly, "If you refuse, you may not sleep well again." He did not shout. He did not threaten loudly. But the quiet threat was worse. I felt my chest tighten. I asked, "Can I think?" The tall man nodded. "You have 1 hour," he said. "Then we come to your building." He pushed the envelope into my hand. "Just hold it," he said. "So you remember what you can have." Then they walked away. I stood in the alley alone. The envelope felt heavy like a stone. 11, the hardest hour. I walked home fast. My mind was full of noise. I opened my door and locked it. Then I sat on the floor. I stared at the envelope. I did not open it. I didn't want to see the money. Because once you see it, it becomes real. I thought about Mr. Howard. If I paid, he would leave me alone. I thought about those men. If I did the job, maybe they would leave me alone too. But would they? People like them do not let you go easily. They pull you in. Then they keep pulling. I thought about calling the police. But what would I say? 2 men offered me money to paint a flat. The police would ask, "Did they hurt you?" No. Did they commit a crime in front of you? No. Do you have proof? No. Then what? I felt stuck again. Then I heard footsteps outside my door. My body froze. I looked at the time. It had not been 1 hour yet. A knock came. This time it was not loud. It was calm. Knock, knock. Then a voice I knew too well. Daniel. Mr. Howard. My heart dropped. He came early. I did not answer. The knock came again. Daniel, I'm changing the lock, he said. Open up. I stood up slowly. If I opened the door, he might see the envelope. If I did not open, I would lose the room. I made a choice. I opened the door. Mr. Howard was there, holding a small tool bag. He looked past me again. Money, he asked. I swallowed. I have some, I said. How much, he asked. I hesitated. Then I pulled out the envelope. Not fully. Just enough for him to see. His eyes changed. He leaned forward. He grabbed the envelope from my hand. Where did you get this? He asked. I said nothing. His face became strange. Not angry. Almost nervous. He opened the envelope fast. He looked inside. Then he looked at me. His voice was lower now. Daniel, he said. Who gave you this? I felt my stomach twist. So he did know them. I whispered, they offered me a job. Mr. Howard's jaw tightened. He looked around the hallway quickly. Then he stepped inside my room. He closed the door behind him. I was shocked. He had never stepped inside before. He always acted like my room was dirty. Now he was inside like he had no choice. He said, listen to me. I stared at him. He continued, do not take jobs from them. I was confused. Why, I asked. He looked tired suddenly. Like he was carrying something heavy. Because if you take one job, you will never be free, he said. I said, but you said pay or leave. He looked at me sharply. That's business, he said. This is different. He pointed at the envelope. That money is poison, he said. My hands shook. Then he did something I did not expect. He put the envelope back in my hands. Then he said, keep your money. I stared. What? I asked. He raised his hand. I will give you 1 more week, he said. 1 week, no more. I could not speak. He went to the door. Before leaving, he looked back. His voice was quiet. Daniel, fear makes people make stupid choices. Then he left. I stood there frozen. Mr. Howard had changed. Or maybe I finally saw him as a real person. 12. The truth in the walls. That night I could not sleep. But something else happened. I started to think. Why would Mr. Howard, a hard landlord, warn me? Why would he give me time? Because he was scared too. So those men were not just random criminals. They were bigger than that. Maybe they controlled people. Maybe they owned fear. And I had stepped into their shadow without knowing. I looked around my room again. The old building. The flickering lights. The quiet tenants. Maybe this building was part of something. Maybe Mr. Howard was not just a landlord. Maybe he was a man stuck in a system too. I looked at my paint bag. I thought about painting. Painting is simple. You cover old dirt with new color. But the dirt is still there. Underneath. Always. That is what life felt like. 13. Finding my voice. In the morning, I made a decision. Not the easy one. The right one. I would not do their job. I would not take their money. But I would also not hide. Because hiding only makes fear stronger. I went back to the shop. Not to work. To look. To understand. I stood across the street. I watched. A van arrived. 2 men carried boxes inside. The same tall man stood near the door, smoking. He looked relaxed. Like he owned the street. I felt anger rise. But I kept my face calm. Then I saw something that made my stomach sink. A young man came out of the shop. He looked scared. He looked like he wanted to run. The tall man grabbed his arm. He said something close to his ear. The young man nodded quickly. Then he walked away, shoulders low. That was not a normal job. That was control. I turned and walked away. I didn't know what to do yet. But I knew one thing. If I stayed silent, I would become like that young man. A person who nods because fear tells him to. I did not want to live like that. 14. The small, brave plan. I went to the local community center. It was a place where people asked for help. Job help. Money help. Legal help. I had never gone there before. I thought it was for other people. But now I understood something. When you need help, you are the other people. A woman at the desk smiled. "Hi," she said. "How can I help?" My voice was weak at first. "I need work," I said. "And I think I'm in a bad situation." She listened carefully. She did not laugh. She did not judge. She said, "Sit down, tell me slowly." So I did. I told her I was a painter. I told her about rent. I told her about the shop. I did not say everything, but I said enough. She nodded. Then she said, "You're not alone, Daniel." Those words felt like warm water. Not a full solution, but a start. She connected me with a job board. She connected me with a local contractor who needed painters. She also said, "If you feel unsafe, we can help you contact the right people." Right people. Not just police, but support. I left the center with numbers written on a paper. For the first time in weeks, I felt something different. Not comfort, but strength. 15. The night they came back. That evening, the unknown number messaged again. "So are you in?" My fingers hovered over the screen. My heart beat fast. Then I typed, "No, I'm not doing it." I stared at the message. Then I pressed send. My breath stopped. A minute passed. 2 minutes. Then a reply. "Bad choice." My hands turned cold. I locked my door. I turned off the light. I sat quietly. Then at around 11 p.m., I heard footsteps. Multiple footsteps. My body stiffened. A knock came. Soft, calm. Then the same voice. "Daniel." I did not answer. The door handle moved. They tried. My lock held. Then the voice said, "Open the door or we break it." My throat felt tight. I remembered the community center paper. I grabbed my phone. This time, I had signal near the window. I called the number they gave me. A calm voice answered. "Community support line," the voice said. "Are you safe?" My voice shook. "No," I whispered. "They're outside my door." The voice stayed calm. "Stay quiet," she said. "Lock everything, do not open, we are sending help." I held the phone to my ear. Outside, the men spoke to each other. I heard the tall man say, "He's calling someone." Then the deep voice said, "We go." Footsteps moved away quickly. Down the stairs. Silence. I stayed still for a long time. Then I heard sirens far away. Not close, but enough to scare them off. When the support worker called me back, she said, "They're gone." "Yes," I said. She said, "Good, tomorrow you come in, we make a plan." A plan. I had not had a plan in a long time. 16. The work that saved me. 2 days later, I got a call. From the contractor the community center connected me with. His name was Mark Wilson. "Daniel," he said, "I heard you can paint." "Yes," I said. "We have 3 flats," he said. "Simple work, you free tomorrow?" "Yes," I said quickly. He told me the address. I wrote it down. That night I slept a little better. Not because the danger was gone, but because I was moving forward. The next day I worked hard. I painted until my shoulders burned. I cleaned, taped, rolled, and brushed. Mark paid me at the end of the day. It was not a huge amount, but it was honest money, and it was enough to pay rent. I went straight to Mr. Howard's office. I handed him the money. He counted it. Then he looked at me. He did not smile, but his voice was softer. "Good," he said. Then he added quietly, "Be careful." I nodded. I walked out feeling lighter. 17. Finding myself again. Weeks passed. I kept working with Mark. The jobs became steady. Not perfect, but steady. The shop on the corner stayed there too. But I did not go near it again. Sometimes I saw the tall man from far away. Sometimes I felt eyes on me. But I did not bend. I did not accept their money. I stayed on my path. One evening, I sat in my room after work. I looked at my hands. Paint was under my nails. My muscles ached. But the ache felt honest. I thought about fear. Fear is like damp air in an old building. It gets into everything. It makes you feel small. It makes you think you have no choices. But fear lies. Because you always have a choice. Sometimes the choice is hard. Sometimes the choice feels dangerous. But choosing the right thing builds you. It builds you quietly, like paint drying on a wall. Slow, but strong. I was still a painter. I was still not rich. But I was mine again. And for the first time, rent day did not feel like a death sentence. It felt like a day.